Hey everybody, happy Memorial Day. Hope you all take a little bit of time, think about what this day is actually about. I just got out of the chopper. I am headed to the corn planter. Today is the day we are planting the last of the corn. We can't catch a rain this year, so it seems like every week we kind of cut a couple of fields off the list, and we've given up on a handful of them. I'm not gonna lie, if it rains, we'll plant some forage sorghum. So I think this field is right at 80 acres, so let's go get it in the ground and call it good for corn plant 2020. There, hopefully you guys hear me over the wind. So before I go plant, I'm adjusting all the opening discs. I'm going to a field that was strip tilt, so I don't want to move much dirt. So in doing so, finding bearings that are out. Take you in here, show you what I'm dealing with. Hi. So, I already did this one. Simple, just nut on the backside. 4 bolts here, take this off, press the bearing out, put in a new bearing. See how this goes. Alright everyone, here it is, the last field for corn planting. It is a big quarter circle, plants about 80 acres. This is an 11 tower machine. As you can see, we're trashy farming, as I always like to joke. Had a neighbor strip till anhydrous on this because we were going to be short on manure. So he came in, strip tilled the anhydrous, and now I have to come in and match his line. Gotta hold the camera up. I have to come in and match his line, which we've done it before. You gotta pay attention, because he's got an 8-row strip till bar. Every once in a while a guess row gets a little squirrely on him, and so I gotta constantly kind of adjust little by little. So the one downside, it's planted straight. If you notice from some of my video and drone footage, stuff like that, I farm in a circle. The pivot goes in a circle. I follow them tracks in a circle because of how hard it is on equipment. I hate bouncing sprinkler tracks. We spend a lot of time and effort into smoothing them up with sand to make them a little less aggressive on our equipment. So our deep tillage, our disc ripper, go in a circle. Our shallow tillage, like a finisher, go across them. It's fine. You have to go at different directions in order to smooth stuff up. But when it comes to like corn planting, I always go in a circle if it's possible. We've got some hillsides where circles just don't work well, so we plant straight. This one, normally I'd plant in a circle, but with trying to match a neighbor's equipment to ours, it was just a whole lot easier. Tell them go here, set your heading on your GPS for 0 degrees. I can match that perfectly, so we will see how this turns out, I guess. But yeah, like I said, 80 acres to go, and corn plant 2020 will be done. And it's odd too, because it's what, the 25th, it's Memorial Day. Yeah, 25th. This is super early for us to be done planting corn. But when Mother Nature doesn't allow it, it's what you do. We'll adapt and move on. It's either that or you go out of business. Those are kind of the two options as a farmer. You adapt to the conditions, or find something else to do. Alright, so problem that I knew I was going to have from driving past the field, you can see the one in the middle right there, right down the middle of the tractor. You can tell looking on the camera that seems a little bit wider than any of these other ones. Well, what's happened is, with him having an 8-row strip tiller and me having the 16-row planter, this is what we call a guess row. It's the mark. You would have to make noise now. It is the mark between passes for him. So if your GPS decides to vary just a little bit, that guess row, as we call it, can either get narrower or wider. And I've been noticing it seems like going one direction it's wide, one direction it's narrow. Like it had a little bit of trouble knowing the exact contour, maybe, to give it that fine adjustment of a couple inches. So with that, I'm having trouble matching his rows to make sure I'm putting that corn seed is ideally in line with that fertilizer as possible. Now I'm only getting off a couple inches, so it shouldn't actually be much of a problem. It's more annoying than anything. Yeah, because see here, watch, once I get going, I can already see I'm gonna have trouble with this one too. As I turn it around, get the tractor to come back, you can see this one now is narrow. So see, like I said, go in one direction it's wide, go in one direction is narrow, and I can actually tell from here that my one over there, I can tell just looking across there that it's wide. You can see kind of a blank spot there in the middle. So I'm gonna have the same problem going the other direction. So it's just one of those deals. It's not, like I said, it's not a big problem. It's just annoying. One of those things you wish you didn't have to deal with, but it's the way it is. So now I'm gonna keep going. Okay, everyone, so as I'm making my way across this field, you see at the end of this tire track right there, all of a sudden there's a bridge, and there's 4 of them along here. What this is if you go back to my irrigation video, and I talk about the ridge line that you could see, and that was the end of the canal. Well, when I took the video, I was about 5 miles over there. I was pointing to the ridge about 2 miles north of here. But this is the end of the canal. Right back there behind me is the last split. Separates the little bit of water that goes through this ditch to the last 4 farmers. But because this ditch goes through the farm and we put up this pivot, we had to figure out how to get across the ditch, obviously. So we got these bridges. We got 4 of them because the outer 4 towers cross. Well, we call them towers, sections, tires, however you want to say it. So the first bridge back there, which is the outside one, is only about 18 foot long. But as you come down here, those bridges go at a sharper angle, and this far one up here, I believe, is 48 foot long. Because when the semi brought it, it was a drop deck like a lot of bale haulers have around here, and it took up that entire bottom section pretty much. But yeah, so I'm just about out of seed. I figure I might get this little strip here planted, but then I still got 20 acres over here to go plant. So we'll see. I got bags at the spray shed to finish me off, so we'll go from there. Alright guys, I hope you can hear me. One of the worst parts about having individual row boxes, whenever you're running out of seed, you get to do the seed shuffle. You come out here and move seed around. Luckily I got my handy dandy helper here. When we were figuring out which corn seed to send back, we couldn't decide between a couple of them. One of the seeds we got was accidentally in bags instead of a box. What the box is 50 bags just dumped in here loosely, so that way you can use the seed tender much quicker and more efficient. But when we started sending seed back, I told Dad, I go, you know what, let's keep that one pallet of bags that we got. I go, that'd be a good one to use as we're finishing the year out. When I came up with that plan, I fully expected to be clear down here and only have like 2 or 3 bags left. But because we cut back on some acres, I'm gonna use a whole 4 bags off of this. So I'm gonna get that loaded, see if I can't go get the last few acres planted now. There it is, guys, the end of corn planting. The planter is not happy. Well, one section just shut off. Another road just ran out. I'm not stopping with 100 feet to go. This is it. We are done. It is a very good feeling to have this done. So there's planted 78 acres on this field. Season 446. That is quite a bit less than we had originally intended on, but it's the way it goes. So I'm gonna take this back to the shed, park it, and sounds like tomorrow I am back to chopping silage. So hopefully I can get some cool video of that, because I don't have a whole lot of silage video yet, just because it's kind of hard to figure out where to put this camera. Can't exactly hold it and talk like I'm doing now because there's no GPS on it. So yeah, fold this up. Corn planting is done. So I just got thinking as I was ending that last video, you know, when when I was done planting. Showed the total, 446 acres planted. I think it's been like 3 weeks or just shy of it since I started, maybe 18 days, somewhere around there. And it all of a sudden hit me. Last year we planted 1,500 acres of corn. We had pre-booked enough seed to plant 1,500 acres of corn again. That is how rapidly things deteriorated around here in the last 6 months. Last summer we were wet-ish, and then just last fall is like the faucet turned off, and we can't find a way to turn it back on. There was some thunderstorms these last 4 or 5 days that have been, or hell, even over the last week, that have been close. But we can't. If we got 1/4 of an inch of rain right now, we'd consider that a big rain. That's how bad it's gotten. But so what we did this year instead, where we sent all that corn seed back, we bought a significant amount of forage sorghum seed. We'll probably start planting that next week, because we've got a lot of open ground that if we could catch an inch of rain, it'd make something at least worth swathing and baling. So it's going to be an interesting summer to see how we work our way through this, because the last time we had this kind of weather outlook was basically right as I was getting out of college, and I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention then. I was just kind of trying to get everything figured out, so I wasn't thinking too much long term. I was more thinking, okay, what's my plan tomorrow type of deal. So yeah, we'll kind of see where this goes from here. So corn planting is done. On to the next mission.